Hello and welcome to Fresh Death Comics. I'm your host, B. Luke. I have Amy with us. Hi,
What
Amy.
up?
So we are here. We are going to be talking about She-Hulk. The first episode came out last Thursday. And so we've watched both episodes now, and we kind of wanted to give our thoughts and feelings about it and kind of give it our own little review, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have some feminist feelings about this. Which is a total surprise, I'm sure, to no one. I have started collecting this run of She-Hulk, this most current run, written by Rainbow Rowell, who, if those of you who are never in Barnes and Noble in the YA section, don't blame you. There's usually not a lot of crossover. Rainbow Rowell is a teen fiction writer. She's actually published a bunch of them, and they've been relatively successful. So that's where I know her from. Finding out that she has been writing this current run of She-Hulk is pretty awesome. This is probably what's going to inspire me to actually get into that run. Most likely, because I really enjoyed the show. So I think that bringing in Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black was just like a really solid casting choice. I mean, clearly. And Brian, I don't know how familiar you are with Orphan Black. I've had friends explain the show to me. Again, I'm one of those people that just...
I have never seen
I've never
Orphan
seen
Black.
it either.
I know. What was it on Sci-Fi?
It was on BBC, BBC
So
America.
I
So
don't know if
fun
we didn't
fact,
have
she's
it.
British,
So-
by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did not get
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, she is an Emmy winner. So she won an Emmy for Orphan Black, finally. That's because she plays several different clones. So she's playing clones of herself in all of these different... There's just a ton of her, and she is playing all of them. And the fact... Like, that's just... That is an acting challenge if I've ever heard one. So bringing her in, I think was a great solid casting choice. Honestly, was not expecting to see Mark Ruffalo come back as Bruce, of course, as Bruce Banner, because, hello, her cousin. But I guess I just was really thinking that they were going to bring him back for this shows.
No, I didn't expect him to come back. I know he's under Universal, so... You know, I don't know what kind of loopholes there are, but I will say that Rainbow Rowell, who does the She-Hulk series, she actually did the Runaways comic book a few years ago.
Not know that.
So that was her first kind of Marvel book. So we've kind of in comic book lore. I didn't know she did young adult books.
Oh, yeah.
The only reason I go to the young adult section in Barnes and Noble is because that's where the Pokemon books are, the Pokemon Adventure Magnus.
And then there's always just that one book of Twilight just staring you right in the face, and it's just every time you turn, it's just right there, just right there. I go there and mock it, but that's me. Anyways,
So She-Hulk, so we kind of get the introduction of her, and it's done I like the way it was portrayed as kind of a first person, but breaking the fourth wall. Like she's kind of telling a story within the story. Like she'll break the fourth wall and look at the camera and kind of be like, let's give you some details about what's going on and what you're seeing.
yeah.
So I thought that was...
Let me tell you how I got here.
Yeah, I like...
Kind of a Deadpool quality to it in a way.
That's what I was thinking. Like this Deadpool, this kind of comedic...
Tongue-in-cheek kind of narrator.
Especially for some of the heavy subject matters, which has turned into now controversial. Yeah.
Sorry, you can. I'm surprised you can hear my eye roll because it was a pretty big eye roll.
Let's talk about some of the negatives, and we'll talk about the positives of what I liked about the show.
Okay.
So the negatives, the CGI,
Number one on the list.
CGI, they got to work on that.
I also don't understand why they couldn't have just done some practical makeup effects on her. That didn't really make a ton of sense to me. Why did she have to be CGI'd every time she was She-Hulk? Also, this was my other critique. Why, when she was Jen, hair was curly? And I know that part of this is how She-Hulk is stylized in the comics. But why what does this say about, her hair becomes straighter when she's She-Hulk for some reason. And then they had the CGI her hair, which did not look right to me. Like it just moved in an odd way.
So in the Hulk world, no one understands how hair works, how color works. And so here, I'm going to show you this picture. And if you're at home, well, actually, I don't know where you guys are. As long as you're not driving, pull out your phones and take a picture, take a look at Red Hulk. And it was a mystery of who that is. Can you see Red Hulk? Zoom on his precious little face. Somehow, this is who Red Hulk is. It's General Ross. He has a mustache, like a big bushy mustache. But when he becomes,
just absorb it.
Nobody knows. So you're asking Hulk hair questions like everybody, and we are still baffled. Like I don't know how Hulk hair works.
So got it. This is the Hulk initiation.
This is the Hulk world of your body. You turn into another person, which is very interesting because I was really hoping they were going to talk about this in the show. Because it's happened in the comics where Bruce, we've discovered why Bruce has a Hulk, like this monster personality, and that's because he's bipolar. He's been battling this like mental illness all his life, and I kind of wish they would have hit on that.
I do too. I think this would have been a really great opportunity to, bring light to any sort of mental illness. I think in general is just a great thing. But then to use it as kind of a great explanation why he's been having such a hard time bringing the two together and how Shed was literally able to, in like the first 15 minutes, just be like herself as Hulk.
She can control everything, and she's always been able to. So this isn't...
Yeah.
The only thing that's different is in the comics, I forgot exactly what had happened, but she needed a blood transfusion. And for whatever reason, Bruce was the only person around, so he did it. And because of the blood transfusion, she becomes She-Hulk. And I don't know how the drop, like, because he had an open wound, she had an open wound, they drop in together.
Yeah, and then he had the piece that he was working on that was the prototype. I don't know if that had, he did talk about how he had the gamma radiation, and I don't know if it was in his blood.
Yeah, the gamma radiation's in his blood.
So then that just got transferred to her somehow and just acted really quickly, apparently.
So, there's that whole thing, and I'm just like, I don't get it. But what are your negatives? What were some things you didn't like?
Yeah, the CGI was just like the biggest glaring kind of elephant in the room. I feel like that...
Especially the opening car scene. I love cheesy poofs so much. The fact that I haven't used chopsticks before to eat my cheesy poofs baffles me that I didn't think about that. Right. But when they're in the car and it jumps up, they're red like they were the red hot Cheeto versions. And you can clearly... And I kept on looking at what version of Cheetos they were eating. And they were eating what they're called. They're like the little straw ones. Yeah. And just the normal cheddar one. And every time they popped them up, they were red, like they were the red hot ones. And so from a cheesy poof enthusiast,
this cheesy poof continuity is awry.
They had the wrong cheesy poofs they were using.
That's CGI. Your problems with She-Hulk go CGI. Cheesy poof.
But that's really like I've seen stuff about like how the CGI feet look weird and all like the CGI, like that's my biggest CGI problem with it. If they fix that, which they can probably do, like
it just
like who knows, by the time this comes out, maybe someone else has said it and they're like, oh man, that's the wrong color, and so they fix it themselves. So when you guys watch it, they may have changed it back to being orange.
Look, I don't have that much faith. I'll be honest. I think we kind of get what we get, but honestly, personally, what we got, I think, was pretty good. I totally love her dynamic with her and her paralegal. I totally forgot what her name is, but She's great. Love her cheering her on in the background. Women supporting women. Big fan, obviously. But then, and speaking of that, just, I mean, kind of top of mind since what inspired us to record. We watched the 6 minute long, what do I even want to call it? Monologue of woke garbage from Ben Shapiro, was his review of She Hulk.
And I only watched it because people in the shop I was at were referencing it of like, oh, he's so right. You know, when I listened to this was what I also thought, and he was like, I've never really agreed with him 100% before. So yeah, we
Yeah.
decided to watch that, and that was kind of what.
Yes, and I think what you brought up was a good point. The fact that he then showed this literally one line or paragraph, whatever, one bit of dialogue from the show where she's talking to Bruce about how she's better at suppressing her anger.
And that's what he flipped out
And that's what
about.
he flipped out
But if
about.
you watch the interview, every single thing he said was wrong. He starts talking about Tatashi Coates was writing Superman and that he wrote that Superman was gay.
No.
None of that stuff is true.
Which
Tatashi
we
Coates,
both know Ta-Nehisi Coates
yes,
wrote for Black Panther.
correct. And Superman is not gay. His
son
son is
is.
bisexual. His son John is.
Yes.
So it's not Superman. But the fact that he goes off in this long tangent about this, I was already like, what is he talking about? But no, you're right. Like it was this big move up of like you don't understand what it is to have anger inside of you. Like you need to control your anger.
Where, like, literally in the scenes before, okay, spoiler alert, they get into her and Bruce are heading somewhere, they get into a car accident, they're upside down, she gets out first, pulls Bruce out first, or pulls Bruce out, he just takes off, I don't know what happens, he takes off, but either way, she is just in the middle of the forest after this accident, somehow crawls her way to a bar to clean herself off and walks through the bar with no shoes on and goes into the public restroom, which I don't think you could pay me to do that, by the way. But I'll take offers, just saying. Anyways.
Like hell you would.
Listen, I'll link below to my OnlyFans page.
Okay, toilet dress.
Anywho, so she meets these in there, which I would have been like, hi. I would have gone up to the bartender and been like, hello, I've been in a horrible accident. Please help me. Do you have a phone? Instead of like trying to be like, oh, real cool, like, oh, I got it together. I'm fine. You're clearly disheveled. Your clothing is ripped. Like, you have no shoes on. Clearly, you're going to look out of sorts at this bar, which I don't know why she was trying to blend in. But I guess probably for this next reason. Runs into a group of women in the bathroom and they're like, oh, well, like, do you need some more makeup? Do you need shoes? Like, do you need a coat? Do you need to borrow a phone? Do you need to call somebody? And then in this next scene, she's waiting outside, waiting for a ride. And she's approached by these three men. And she is clearly disinterested. She has been in an accident. She's had the textbook definition of a day. And I'm pretty sure the last thing on her mind is hooking up with any of these dudes. And yes, the one guy that's like, hey, are you here? Like, hey, hi. Yes, he does sound like he could be friendly. But these other two dudes that are approaching her, they kind of seem a little aggressive. So, I'm sorry. It's a numbers game. It's 3 versus 1. There's nobody else in the bar. I mean, as a woman, I've been in this situation. And I know some people may be like, oh, sure you have. No, where someone is coming on to me unwanted, I would have loved to have had that opportunity to have just been able to She-Hulk out and just be like, get the fuck away from me. You do not know the type of day I had. I just want to go home. I want to have something to eat. I want a hospital bed. I want to lay down. I want to make sure that I'm okay. This guy that's in front of me is the last thing on my list that I want to care about. And that's where I just lost it with his Ben Shapiro thing. Because I'm just like, you clearly, and I mean, he said he hasn't watched it. He said he got rid of his Disney Plus subscription after they were trying to indoctrinate, whatever. He's full of shit. Anyways. Let me tell you how I really feel.
It was very interesting because for me, I've never had that situation happen to me where I've been at a bar or somewhere and people are catcalling me or like, "Hi, let's do this."
Or even just when you're alone by yourself at night, like on this like street, walking to
Yeah.
your car, and you have to be like, okay, like could somebody jump out? Not even to not even to hit on me, but like, am I gonna get mugged? Am I
Well,
gonna get stabbed?
I think about that
Yeah, like
too.
these are just human things, but people genuinely see women as less threatening. And
But think it was interesting what you were saying is that here She-Hulk is a character that you can identify with, that
yeah,
you look at and go, "Wow, I as a woman identify." So it's not
yeah,
pushing an agenda. It's
no,
them telling you, not them showing what your life is like, and I have to accept it.
they're telling She-Hulk, sorry, Jen, her point of view of her life. Just it's not. Sometimes there's no feelings. Sometimes it's just facts, man.
And
And
that's what I'm saying. And we don't realize that. And I think so many times we're just so like, oh, I don't want this in my movie. I want, we'll use the Ben Shapiro,
yeah,
the Superman reference. Like, why can't it just not be about politics? Why can't it,
Exhibit A,
except it was
the
because
X Men.
except Lex Luthor did. He was all about politics. He was trying to steal Superman. But problem is
I'm just
Superman, the first movie, is just an all-white movie.
yes. I mean, yeah.
I mean,
it was-
it's boring. It's a white reporter reporting for duty, and Lois Lane is enamored by Superman. It's a boring movie.
yeah. I mean, why? It's like, is Ben Shapiro just mad that we're asking more from our entertainment? Like, I really feel like that's what it is.
I think Ben Shapiro wants to go to the days of Leave It the Beaver, where the women just stayed in the kitchen and the men did all the adventures. I think that's the world he wants to live
Which,
in.
fun fact, I mean, have you ever heard of Donna Reed?
I have.
The Donna Reed Show? Fun fact, did you know that she was an executive producer and director? So that illusion that women did nothing and just, acted nice is fake because they were running the ship this whole fucking time.
Yeah, they just told
Boom.
stories that they had to tell for the network. Network said to do this. Okay, we'll do
They
it.
played along. One for me, one for the studio.
It's just it's so upsetting.
Just one more thing.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
just
Hit
really
me.
feel like this whole notion of why can't we just go back to these days? Because you are just looking at things through your lens of what your experience was. Because look, your view of like the Donna Reed show. Yeah, she was making donuts and worked part-time at the hospital and was like competing in a bake sale show or whatever. But the reality of the thing was Donna Reed was a person, a director, a producer. She was doing all of this shit. Women were multifaceted back then. You just don't want to recognize it. The end. That's the end of my monologue.
No.
Continue.
No, that sums up everything. I guess I just don't understand how She-Hulk is woke. She-Hulk is just real.
Yes.
Like real world situations of like the office scene. When the guy goes, you sure don't want me to deliver it? I can really hit it home way better than you.
Oh, way better than you, even though you're the assistant TA.
But no, But it's interesting because we've talked about mansplaining, and I have a terrible habit of doing it.
Oh, you have edited the show a couple of times, and you've stopped yourself and said, Amy, when I do things like this, and then you play this clip for me, please stop me. Like, I know you've done this, and I know it's I don't always correct you all the time, or I don't always tell you to back off, but it's a process. Everything's a process. Life is a process.
Or an individual had come over to our house and saw that we had bought the new Tegan and Sarah album.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who Tegan and Sarah is. That was something you bought.
Yeah.
And then this individual decided to tell you all about the history of this artist.
The artists, plural.
I'm sorry, artists.
Yes. You still don't even know who they are.
I don't.
But yeah, anyways,
We
this
take
happened in my own home. Like,
as men, we
I'm
we
not even
just
safe in my own house.
You're
where
not.
this
You have-
happens. I bought this house, and I'm not safe within these walls.
which is also interesting because we've had some legal troubles, and the
Yeah.
cops come to the house and refuse to talk to you. They want to talk to the owner of the house, and
Which is me. I bought this house under my name.
yeah,
Ah.
like, and they are
I-
so like, oh, we need to
Yeah, and
find
believe
out.
me, I was this close to being like, "Oh yes, Mr. Officer, women can own property now."
Yeah, he was so like
Bewildered.
Yeah, he was like, I don't understand. So it's
Anyways.
just I think this whole She-Hulk woke thing is more of a She-Hulk is real and they're
We're-
pushing on buttons. Like I realize that I mansplained that I don't think I've ever catcalled a girl, but I've seen it done and I haven't stopped it. I haven't, I
Yeah.
just go, oh, that's part of life. That's how what people do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know?
I mean, it's habits are hard to break, behaviors are hard to break, but like the fact that you're recognizing this is like the first, and I know it sounds like you're going through rehab, but it's the first step towards.
Thanks,
you know,
Dr. Amy.
You're welcome. Now take 50 cc's of marijuana stat.
Aye, Captain. Sorry, guys. I have to take a. My doctor says I need to do stats.
Hey, it's green too. I'm just saying.
No, I think it's just an interesting look at what men and women go through, and the catcalling scene for me. Like, I don't like seeing catcalling. But I didn't know how disturbing it is until you hear it from women going, yeah, it happens all the time. It's annoying. I don't enjoy it.
Well, or even just in the, like I said earlier, like just the 3 versus 1, like there's clearly enough people to overpower you if they wanted to do anything or steal things. I mean, at this point, she didn't have anything left to steal, so joke's on them. But they don't know that.
No.
They could
Well-
still just fucking stab her, just leave her for dead. Like, there's so many possibilities, like this way that this could have been gone badly, and it's not even. It's also just from a feeling of safety in public, because you're right. Like, it doesn't matter if it's male, female, like whatever. Like, if you feel threatened in a place, if you think that somebody's going to mug you or try to steal something off of your person or just try to attack you, like, that's your natural reaction, is that you're going to feel out in an outnumbered situation. Yeah, you're going to feel threatened. So just because that they were trying to hit on her and she should take that as a compliment doesn't mean that she didn't feel threatened in that situation. So she did something about it. And honestly, I think everybody's just getting sick because women are just being more vocal about these experiences.
And seeing that it's an all women created behind the director with her name's Kat.
Gao?
No, that's the creator is Jennifer
Oh, sorry.
Gao. The director is Kat. Her name is Kat Cicero. Or Cicero. How do you pronounce this? Words are tough. How would you pronounce that? Kat Cicero?
Cat Koiro? Like a koi fish? I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying. I'm just trying to be polite and talk like appropriate because
Yeah.
I want to give recognition to this creative team.
Listen, listeners, sometimes we get really excited and we
Don't really do the research. We just literally
we
watched
just
the
jumped
show.
right in. We just had
We
feelings.
jumped in and we were like, I want to talk about this. So the creator of She-Hulk, Jennifer Gao, and it's being directed by so far it's been all women who've been directing it. It just seems like it's an all women created story.
It's definitely a women first production, I would say. Or a female, like a
exactly. So
female driven
if you're a guy who isn't enjoying that, maybe you need to check yourself. Also, I was also thinking this: the men who are like protesting who don't like it, they also aren't in very good relationships with their women. Maybe that's why. Like everyone in the shop, I was trying to think. Everyone who didn't like it is single.
Wow. Shocker.
I I just blew my own mind.
You just made that correlation all by yourself.
So, if you want to get a girl, watch She-Hulk and try to understand that this is how women are being treated, and then maybe change how you are.
Yeah, or just fucking treat us like we're people. Like we're men. Oh, crazy.
Listen, there is a dating website called Maga US,
Bag of meats.
or magameets.us.
Oh my god.
And I think me and Amy are going to do a deep dive. I have a couple of fake email accounts I think I can get away with, that we can create an account and see what kind of people are on there, because I want to like see like, are these like, I want to see how the women are, and I want you to do one for men,
Okay.
and we'll use fake pictures
Okay.
because
Can my name be Janet Snake Oil?
as long as I can be Julius Pepplewood.
Perfect.
How you doing, girl? How you doing? I love Trump, and I love Walls, and I love Mar-Lagos. I also love.
The Nelk Boys. Happy Dad. They're great. Seltzer. It's got electrolytes. It's what plants need.
I don't even know where I was going with
I
it.
don't know.
I'm just this whole notion. Like, I want to know who these people are on this website, because they are like, are they just these extreme? Like, we believe that the election was stolen. Which here's a question for the audience. My parents believe the election was stolen. Should I do an interview with them and see
Yes,
if
just ask them one question. Why?
yeah, like let's talk it out. Why? Like, these are.
I mean, I'm sorry to put your family on red right now, but
Let's do it.
crack. And so, definitely we're over at your parents' house one time, and they said that they thought that the war in Ukraine was fake.
Oh yeah.
And then literally the entire table just went silent because it was your siblings and their significant others. And we're all like, what? Is this real? Do you really think this?
They do. Like, my family believes whatever Fox News tells them. I'm this close to, like, because I know I know how to do things. So I almost want to do like a live stream on their thing and do my own Fox News and come up with outrageous stories. Baloney hits Chicago. The whole city is covered. Oscar Mayer plant explodes and the whole city now has bologna. They will be eating bologna for months. The city is outraged. Vegans are in the streets crying. Traffic is no longer being able to move. Do not go to Chicago. And then my mom is going to be like, "Did you hear about Chicago?"
Which is hilarious because I don't think she sounds like that.
Listen, now this is how I sound. I'm his mom. I have coffee.
I mean, that part's true.
No, but
The
just
coffee.
I just think it might be interesting, but at the same time, I don't know like how. I mean, there's no way of me convincing her of like, if I show her documents and show her proof, she's just gonna go, "Well, I can find I can find stuff that would prove the opposite too." And then I go, "Well, do it." She goes, "Well, you could do it."
Okay, but like I have actual resources and articles.
Well, look on the other side. You found this one, you can find others. That's how the news works. There's two sides, and
Source?
yeah, I heard it.
Please? Yeah.
It was
From
on the
where?
news. It was on the news.
What source?
The news.
Which news?
The news.
There's more than one.
Well, Fox News. Or what's the other one? She watches that and
The-
whatever one's on Pluto TV.
Pluto TV.
There's a news station on Pluto she loves.
Can I tell you a secret?
I would love to hear a secret.
I really think that Republicans like Ben Shapiro and whatever, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that I don't really think that they actually believe that. I think they're like playing a part because someone's paying them to. Like, that's my deep, I really think this a lot.
I mean, I've been debating on playing it.
I mean,
Do you know how much money we could make pretending to be like pro-Trumpers?
I know, but I just think about former I think about Shepard Smith a lot, I'll be honest, because so my dad watched a lot of Fox News growing up, so walking back into this Christendom after several years of being away from heavy republicanism was a bit of a shock, but not really, because Shepard Smith was an anchor on Fox News for many years. I want to say easily over 10. Like, I have a distinct memory of watching like the newsroom with Shepard Smith or whatever it was. It was on. It was specifically on at 7 o'clock, and that's where I heard about Freddie Mae and Fannie Mac like going bust. Like, I have a distinct memory of this. But like, if you look at like the trajectory of like Shepard Smith's life, he later said, "Hi, I can't lie about who I am anymore. I'm gay. I'm a gay person. I love somebody who is the same sex as me. I am an anchor at Fox News." Then left and is now on MSNBC. Like, I really think sometimes if they're like, "We're just gonna give you an assload of money that you can just do whatever. You just need to play this very specific part of a Republican person."
So who's paying them? Is it Ted Turner?
It's Zodiac Killer Ted Cruz.
You mean Rafaela Cruz?
Rafael Cruz.
So I know we went on a little bit of a tangent.
We went on this. I mean, this entire episode is a tangent. This entire episode has been brought to you by marijuana.
Smoke
And
it, drink it, love it.
don't fuck it. That'd be weird.
No, you can just love it by
You can
smelling
grow
it and smoking it and keeping it in your lungs as long as possible.
Weed. We need you.
So that was our thoughts on She-Hulk. What we thought, our initial reactions. I mean, we'll see what happens at the end. Maybe the show takes a dive bomb and then just is. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think I really like it's very witty, I feel. Like, it's sharp. I feel that the dialogue is sharp.
Well, the writer, Jennifer Gao,
Yes.
would you like to hear a fun fact?
Yeah, I would actually.
She actually wrote some episodes of Rick and Morty and Silicon Valley.
Oh, really? So those people who are complaining about how woke the show is shouldn't like Rick and Morty then?
Technically, because they don't realize how woke Rick and Morty is. 'Cause
Yeah.
they just don't. I think it's this notion of, like, The Simpsons. Like, you see The Simpsons as just, or South Park.
Yeah, it's
South
the
Park, I
perfect
think, is the
South
better
Park.
example where you go, oh, this is true. This is
Yep.
all what they're saying. And you're like, no, it's a mockery.
And people are not understanding that
satire.
it's satire. Yes, like people don't understand what satire is anymore.
So I think there's a lot of that taking place. So we'll keep you guys. We'll talk about She-Hulk at the end of the season. We got like a month, I think, left of the show.
Probably, I think. Yeah. that
So
sounds
watch
about
it.
right.
Let us know what you think. Send us your comments.
Are we wrong? Why is She-Hulk woke garbage? I would like to know opposing views. So send them our way. Or have you disagreed with everything that I said? Do you think I should be in the kitchen? Haha.
So yeah, I don't think you should. Do it. Unless you're making me some buttered noodles, but like that's
That
not
was
a
earlier in the
that's
night.
not like a requirement. That's just because we take turns cooking because we're a team.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not required to be in the kitchen.
No.
Neither am I.
Yes, I just
We-
have a better concept of time and my own personal hunger than certain
Hunger.
people's.
I forget I'm hungry.
I know. This is why I'm like, I'm hungry. I'm making food. And you go, I'm hungry. There's a cloud.
But no, so let us know what you think. I'm enjoying it. It's a fantastic journey of fun, and
I'm on
it's
board.
so witty, and every end credit scene has been hilarious,
Yes. Yes.
especially the Captain America jokes. Like,
Oh, yes.
I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but make sure
Yes.
when you're done with the episode, watch through the credits because there's an end credit scenes. Oh, enjoy them, friends.
Oh,
enjoy
joy.
them.
It's
so,
good.
all right, we'll see you guys soon. This is just a little mini bite, a fresh comic bite. Bite.
Bye, everybody. Bye.